Hello. I got one more body to look at and then I'll be on my way home. I don't know, I think it's some rapper. He got shot heading home in his own city. I'll be on my way when I get done looking at him.
Alright, so yesterday I made a video talking about Yella Beezy being arrested for the murder of Mo3, right? He's been charged with capital murder. They're basically saying that he put a bag on Mo3's head and paid the shooter, Keywan White, to make it all happen. Now, Mo3 was killed back in 2020. And after making that video yesterday, I'm realizing that a lot of people aren't familiar with the Mo3 story and the whole Yella Beezy situation. Now, I made a documentary back when I first started YouTube, Mo3 the whole story. In this video, I go over the entire history of Mo3. And one of the most important parts of this documentary that I made was towards the end when I was explaining the beef between Mo3 and everybody else that was from the DFW area. And there was beef, a lot of it. In fact, I will play a small portion of like the disses between Mo3, Yella Beezy, and Trap Boy Freddy. Trap Boy Freddy is Yella Beezy's homie. For those of y'all who don't know, he was heavily involved with this beef as well, right? But I'll play some little back and forth that they had on wax so that you guys can understand how serious this situation was. If the music don't play, it's because it got copyrighted and YouTube wouldn't let me get away with it, but I'm gonna try to play it for y'all.
Yeah, I'm lit up. Yeah, bro split up. What? They had to click up. After I hit up old boy on my mama, we got my dick sucked. Gang. Hang out the window with that big 4-5. Caught you lag. That nigga had that burner on his hip, but I still whacked him. They put money on my head like they paying for hits. Well, it's free when I jump out, so I ain't paying for shit. I know some shit that they don't know, I never told, man. The last nigga that we smoked, he was a no-name. Read the news and think about what you just read and ask yourself, do you really want that? Hi, I am the truth.
Shot a couple of my partners, we gon' ride about it. Bet your partner got poppin', you ain't ride about it. Woo! Woo! Send some shot through that little window. Hit him up, I heard they kill folk. Caught another one slipping. 10-4, man down. Better get low, nigga, get ghost. Tell him to laugh now. Heard they jumped up out the whoop. He got ran down. Why you ain't tell him before the beef, you were fanned out. Everybody was instigating, look how it panned out. Heard when they caught him with it panned down. I'm dropping bags on all these bitches. Bodies get the third one free, put that shit on me. They caught me slipping, but they didn't kill me. Then was with weak. You want a bag, got a bag. Bring me that little nigga. He in trouble. You want double, bring that little nigga to me. And you don't gotta pay for lawyers or the bun, that's on me.
You a hoe, check the scope. We up too. Fuck, probably ain't never popping no pills, but time I shoot.
Body out body, tell your partner dig them up. Should've thought about that rap shit before you start dissing us.
From this video I made that kind of breaks it all down and explains it for you guys, I need to apologize ahead of time. Like I said, this video was made when I first started YouTube. I did not have a camera or anything like that, so I used like a penguin avatar to narrate the video. Probably not the best decision, but don't be thrown off by it. The story is still good. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and play the part of that video that is relevant today because of Yella Beezy's arrest. Just remember that this documentary is like 3 years old, so some of the information at this point, Mo3 has seen nothing short of a phenomenal amount of success, but there are factors other than the music that was helping propel Mo3 to the forefront of Texas rap. From the start, Mo3 had been affiliated with the streets, and when he blew up, that didn't change. When Mo3 first dropped, boogie music was on its way out, and Mo3 and a few other rappers were bringing that new gangster sound to Dallas that it had been saying it wanted. However, when he did eventually start releasing music, not everyone in the city was on board and supportive of his movement. This caused several different incidents to take place that would turn the city up and lead to Mo3 beefing with what felt like everyone that was inside the borders of the state. Like I said, there were several other rappers on the come up around this time. This included Go Yayo, Trap Boy Freddy, and Yella Beezy, and these names will become synonymous with beef that formed between them and Mo3 during Mo3's come up. For now, let's take a quick look at Go Yayo. He first popped up on the scene in 2014 with his song Don't Trip. While 3 was making his come up, so was Go Yayo, and the only difference was Go Yayo's career took off first. When he dropped this song, boom, God. Go Yayo had beef with everyone in Fort Worth, and was really causing problems in the rap scene because remember, before this, everybody was doing dance music and pretty much got along, but Go Yayo was causing all sorts of problems. Anyway, Go Yayo at the time was the bigger artist coming out of the state. Him and 3 were cool at first, but just like he was beefing with everybody else, it didn't take long for Yayo and 3 to get beef of their own, and their relationship started to sour. Word on the streets was that Yayo was jealous of 3's success, and this could be seen in a video where Go Yayo was performing at the Music Factory and Mo3 was also scheduled to perform. Mo3 took the stage when it was his time, but Yayo refused to pass him the mic, continuing to perform for the crowd and even crowd surfing. Trap Boy Freddy was also on stage during his performance. Apparently, this is where the bad blood between Go Yayo and Mo3 started, but it wasn't nothing too serious at first. In fact, a little while later, a rapper from Dallas named Cuban Doll set up a studio session where 3 and Go Yayo was set to be there at the same time. When Yayo got there, him and 3 recorded a song, and then Yayo hopped on the phone with another guy named Nana who was asking to speak to 3. Now, Mo3 has blood affiliations, and this guy has ties to the Crips. So when he tried to get 3 on the phone, he declined. Apparently, Nana told Go Yayo that when he seen Mo3, he was gonna slap the shit out of him.
Couple days ago, Yayo pull up at the studio. Cuban Doll, me, Cuban, and Yayo, we just did a little track real quick. It was supposed to be some low-key little friction between me and Yayo, you understand me, you know? But it really wasn't nothing when it came down to it. So, you know, y'all seen the status like, what, about day 4 yesterday? Nana say, Yayo and Mo3, y'all some blah, blah, blah. I'm finna tell y'all why that happened. So, boom. Yayo tell me, Nana say he was gonna slap you. So I'm like, we at the studio. So I say, Nana say he was gonna slap me. I say, Nana couldn't have said that.
After that session was over, 3 felt some type of way about it, even going as far as to claim Cuban Doll and Go Yayo was trying to set him up. This created a fallout between the 2 artists, but it didn't stay localized between the 2. Instead, it split the Triple D into basically 2 sides, those who were rocking with Yayo and those who were rocking with Mo3. Trap Boy Freddy said he got dragged into it when 3 asked him to stop speaking to and being cool with Go Yayo, a demand Trap Boy Freddy didn't even entertain, saying this in a Say Cheese interview.
If you cool with me how you say you is, or if it's, you know what I mean, that's what you supposed to do, bro.
Right.
Like, if you was to ask me about a question, you can ask me about any one of you know what I mean? Right. The first thing I'm gonna say, yeah,
right,
even
like
if I ain't heard.
right, like,
see, now, me and him, we were cool money, you see what I'm saying? That's my dog. We still be cool right now. If he go say what he said and go be like what he really meant or however he meant it, yeah. If it wasn't nothing towards me, you gotta say that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that was my and I vouch for him on every level. So if it ain't the same, it ain't that. But man, that ain't talk shit. Yayo shit. You know Yayo.
Yeah.
He wanted me to he was bad at me for still talking to Yayo, so that's what it was. Period. I ain't gotta stop talking to nobody. Yeah, what it is.
Not only did Trap Boy Freddy refuse to stop speaking with Yayo, he also ramped this beef up to the next level when he dropped a song titled Six Pick that had a bunch of artists on it from Dallas. Most notably was Go Yayo and Yella Beezy. Apparently, 3 felt some type of way about Go Yayo being included on the track when he wasn't even asked to perform on it.
Pick 6, the record, that is yours.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, how'd you come up with who'd you pick?
I mean, first it was me, you know what I mean, with me, Yayo, and Running. It was me, Yayo, and Running by myself. And then Sleazy pulled up, so I tell Sleazy, ain't gonna put your verse on there too. Then Yella, then Lil CJ too. Then I called it 6 Pick just because there was 6 people on there, you know what I mean? And then lottery, I know it was something with the lottery had 6 Pick, so I put the cover on like the lottery ticket or whatever. But it wasn't no specific rap. It wasn't none of that, bro.
You didn't think too much into it?
Nothing. I just knew it was gonna go viral. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah. I knew it was gonna go viral instantly, but it wasn't these the hottest and deal up. Nope, it wasn't that. You know what I mean? These all my partners. Right. You know what I mean? We always chilling, and I told them one by one to do it. You know what I mean? I had all of us right there. That was instantly.
I mean, and that's dope because I did something like that with Dallas vs. Everybody. Unfortunately, that was like You know what I'm saying? Before Say Cheese was what it was.
Hold on, do you know when you dropped it who I said went the hardest?
You said Mo3.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it won't, you know, and at that time, I don't think he was on there like he was the last person to get on there, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were like, why y'all ain't put? Why y'all ain't put? Why y'all ain't put? Why y'all ain't put? Why y'all? Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he killed that. Listen to it. You know what I mean? I go to it and play it. Who had order? That's you know what I mean? I did that. You know what I mean?
This created a drift between Freddie and 3, who have known each other since middle school, and as far as 3 was concerned, Freddie had chosen his side. This resulted in Mo3 pulling up to Trap Boy Freddie's clothing shop and confronting him in this video that Freddie posted to his IG. Mo3 responded by saying he was trying to throw hands, but Trap Boy Freddie was scared to put his gun down. Trap Boy responded by saying this was the day Mo3 got his Rome free pass revoked. This was clearly escalating, and this all culminated in a terrible incident that took place in Fort Worth, Texas, not long after. Remember earlier in the story when I told y'all 3 had signed to Epic Records, but the deal fell apart only 2 months after he signed? That happened because of this next event. So Mo3 was on fire at this point in his career and had already passed where Go Yayo was at his peak. He was arguably the biggest artist in Texas at this point. He was having a birthday bash and he brought everybody from his hood out to celebrate in Fort Worth. Apparently, he was on stage when Yayo approached and asked to get up there with him, but instead of 3 letting it happen, he refused Yayo's request, telling him he was kicking it with his homies instead. They left this venue and headed to Club Phantom in Fort Worth for an after party. Now, 3 is from Dallas and Yayo is from Fort Worth, so Mo3 is on Yayo's home turf. According to eyewitness testimony, when 3 and his entourage got to the location, Yayo was already in attendance, and the crowd started turning up in a violent way, clearly mad that 3 had showed up to the venue. Apparently, him and Yayo exchanged some words with each other, and after the exchange, 3's manager Rainwater attempted to get him and his crew out of the club. They was being escorted out by club personnel, but according to 3's homie, No Fly Peach, instead of taking them out the club, they escorted them to a fenced-in patio. From here, a group of people could be seen rushing Mo3's clique, and during the chaos, shots ended up being fired.
That happened fast. Like, I just remember, you know, just pop off 3 and Yayo get into it. And, you know, they passed their words. Yo, bro wanted to get on the stage with him. 3 was like, I'm cooling with my knife. This like one of the first shows where 3 had before it's like Hamilton Park. The Crooks, you know, like all of us together, and it was his birthday bash. So he tell him like, you know, I'm chilling with my hood. You know, I'm them today or whatever with the Roots. So 3 do one show at one club. We go to another club. Next thing you know, the whole Fort Worth standing up in there on tables. You know, they cracking, talking, they with the Roots, but 3 playing it calm, you know what I'm saying? But he really trying to think the situation through. You know what I'm saying? We outnumbered, we in they city, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we boom, 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 you know. Ryan come back like, come on, we finna go, or whatever. So we walk into the door, and I'm telling them like, nah, bro, this the wrong door. We supposed to be going that way. Yeah. And they walk us to like a big patio with like 12-foot fence. Next thing, you just see a whole bunch rushing the door. Then I don't know, I'm hitting the gate by this time. You know what I'm saying? So this was a setup for sure, for sure.
No Fly Peach claims they were being set up, but that still remains unknown. This incident resulted in one man losing his life. Nobody was arrested for it at first, but 1 month later, after meeting with his parole officer, Mo3 was booked on suspicion of being involved. He wasn't booked at the parole office though. Instead, they raided his house at 10 o'clock in the morning and took him into custody. He was promptly released after he posted a $100,000 bail. This is where the beef with Mo3 really started at, but after the first shooting that took place at this club, it opened the window for even more violence to occur, and while 3 was making this come up that we covered earlier, he started to endure some serious losses. While all of the rappers in the area might have despised Mo3, he was able to make friends in other sectors of entertainment. One of his good friends was a man named Roy Lee. Roy Lee was a comedian out of Dallas who gained a following posting short comedy clips to various social media sites. Mo3 used to watch his clips, and one day he reached out to him in the DMs, and the 2 men met up and instantly hit it off, becoming good friends, hanging out all the time, and kicking it. However, Roy Lee would find himself being wrapped up in the drama and unintentionally propelling Mo3's beef forward by about 10 years. This started after Roy Lee started posting clips of him making fun of Yella Beezy, and it went on for a while. It came to a head at the King of Diamonds Club when Beezy spotted Roy Lee and sucker punched him in the face. Roy Lee responded to it all in this video where he challenges Yella Beezy to a boxing match.
Roy, what the f is you over here doing?
Getting ready for the fight, $12,000.
Boy, you as dumb as you look.
$12,000 trying to get ready for it.
What fight you getting ready for, boy?
For the fight, trying to get this shit out my
Ain't nobody gonna fight.
He ain't gonna fight.
No.
So you telling me he's a grown man, he ain't gonna step up to the plate?
I don't know about none of that. I just know he haven't responded. I've been watching. It's not a fight. You childish.
How am I childish?
The boy, come on.
I'm ready to knock some out.
What is you knocking out?
I'm ready to knock him out. I'm ready to win. The winner, Roy Lee, the comedian. Knocked out the rapper.
Boy.
Why I can't do that? Why I gotta squash something? And they the ones jump me. Why I gotta do that? Why?
Okay, they jump you, let it go.
Why I gotta let something go? Why they saving him like they walked him to church last week? Why?
Roy.
Hey, man. Hey, come on, man.
Clearly, Roy Lee was having threes back in this situation, and like with most of these stories, it didn't take long for the online antics to translate into real life problems. On Tuesday, September 25th, 2018, Roy Lee was sitting in the parking lot of the Preston Valley Shopping Center when a gunman approached him and opened fire. He hit Roy Lee in the leg or the foot, and then he fled the scene. Roy Lee contacted emergency services and was transported to the local hospital. He made some IG live videos talking about what happened, and it seemed that everything was okay, but Roy Lee would not make it through recovery. 2 weeks after the incident, a blood clot formed as a result, and he passed away after having a massive heart attack. The death of Roy Lee escalated this beef to the point of no return. Yella Beezy had been beefing with Roy Lee over Mo3, and when Roy Lee passed away on October 13, 2018, the very next day, October 14, 2018, Yella Beezy would find himself in a crucial situation as well. He was on the highway in his Sprinter van when a car pulled alongside him and let off over a dozen shots. Beezy was hit 3 times and hospitalized over the incident. When asked if he could ever forgive the person who did it, he said this.
If the guys that did it apologized to you, they came in.
Apologizing. Ain't no apologizing. We done went too far. Ain't no apologizing. I can't see now that shot me. Point blank period. I don't give a f. That's just me. You not finna come and try to say I'm the that shot you and think you finna walk away. I'm gonna get my lick back. Ain't no walking away. Nah, ain't no shaking my hand. That's too far gone. I'm gonna shoot at you or you gonna shoot at me on God, on my son. That's it. Like, I done ran into, like, that I had the history with. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when none of us hit, you get what I'm saying? So I can shake it. That's cool. Like, ain't on it no more. Actually pop you, that's a whole deal. Trust me, like, it's a consequence for everything you do. Like, whatever life you live in, just know, like, you gotta be ready for everything. Like, if I'm into it with anybody, like, they started that first. So It's gonna be they karma when it come from me. You get what I'm saying? Like,
clearly, this was past the point of no return. This was further fueled when Mo3 dropped a song titled 219, where he addressed the beef directly and basically admits to shooting Yella Beezy on a record. He didn't stop with this track though, because a month later, he dropped another diss song titled 221, where he addresses the beef again and made his intentions very clear. The bad news is this energy was met with a terrible response, because less than 10 days later, after he dropped 221, 3 would endure another loss. Mo3 was close to another man in Dallas named James Browning, also known as Bubba. Bubba and 3 have been close since childhood, but less than 10 days after Mo3 dropped that 221 song, Bubba found himself in a dire situation too. Bubba often hung out in front of a gas station in Dallas, and it was well known that he hung out there. He did it so frequently that the owners became friends with him and didn't mind him hanging around. On March 13, 2019, Bubba was in front of that gas station in South Dallas when a white SUV could be seen pulling up beside the store. 2 men jumped out of the car, armed, and made their way to the front. Bubba notices the men and tries to run, but the men opened fire with automatic rifles. Bubba made it inside the store and all the way to the back, but he was hit and he would fall over and die only moments later. The 2 men ran back to the vehicle and made their getaway. This loss hit Mo3 even harder than the loss of Roy Lee, but marked the second time close friends of his had been taken away during the midst of this beef. Then, 3 months later, in July of 2019, Yella Beezy is booked at an unruly Citizen concert in Kansas. Mo3 apparently contacted the promoter of this show and was able to get himself on a ticket. However, after the promoter realized that Mo3 and Beezy had beef, they contacted 3 and tried to cancel on him. Although Mo3 claims he was never informed of this information. Regardless, when the night came for Yella Beezy to perform, Mo3 can be seen pulling up, and as soon as he stepped on the property, the police arrested him. 3 claims Yella Beezy called the police and had him on the lookout for in case Mo3 showed up, but it was unconfirmed if it was Beezy or the promoter who contacted authorities. 3 can be heard rapping about this incident on his song titled Let Me Find Out, where he claims Yella Beezy was scared to be in the same building as him. It was clear that this beef was not gonna die down. Either way, Mo3 followed all this up by dropping his album Osama that had all of these diss songs on it that included 221, 219, and Let Me Find Out. He continued to release a flurry of songs after this album, and only 2 months later, in February of 2020, his dual album with Lil Boosie dropped, something Mo3 had waited his whole life to see happen. And even this wasn't enough to make Mo3 slow down. He dropped his Broken Love remix with Kevin Gates, which has since gone on to become platinum and was the first time Mo3 had ever achieved a level of success with a record like this. But unfortunately, Mo3 would never get to see the heights of his success because he would expire before 2020 ever ended. On November the 11th, 2020, Mo3 was in his car on Interstate 35 headed back towards his house after a night with one of his lady friends. Mo3 got on the phone with his manager Rainwater and said he felt like there was a dark colored Chevy Camaro following him while he was still in the neighborhood, which is what prompted him to get onto the interstate. Once on the interstate, he became increasingly paranoid of the car, and according to Rainwater, after a long pause, he heard Mo3 tell him that the car was shooting at him. He brought his car to a complete stop and hopped out. Now what happens next is up to speculation, but the rumor was that 3 stopped the car and got out so he could get to the other side and get in a stash box that stored a gun he had. Mo3 was a felon, so he couldn't legally own a gun, which makes sense as to why he would have one in a stash box. Unfortunately, if that's what he was aiming to do, he was unsuccessful. He ended up running down the highway as a man got out of the black Chevy Camaro chasing him with an automatic rifle in hand and opened fire. 3 was hit multiple times and died on the scene. There's footage of it, but out of respect and I'd like to get monetized on this, I won't show it here, but you can look it up. He was transported to the hospital where he was officially pronounced dead. One of his biggest ops, Trap Boy Freddy, can be seen going live within minutes of the incident and addressing what happened, seemingly dropping hints that he knew exactly what was going on.
Man, whoever got the freeway blocked out need to get y'all together, dog. God, can't get on the freeway. And Law got the freeway blocked off all the way on Polk, dog. What the they got going? Finna pop some bottles. It's bottle popping time. House party time. Button time. Yeah.
After Mo3 passed away, they had a vigil and a public balloon release party planned for him that went off without a hitch. But even though Mo3 was gone, his beef was still very much alive. Lil Boosie was in attendance for the event, and afterwards he went to the Redbird Mall in Oak Cliff to do some shopping. While standing outside, somebody pulled up and opened fire on him, hitting him in the leg and leaving him in a wheelchair for months on end. Another 20 shootings took place in the area the weekend after Mo3 passed away. Trap Boy Freddy even dropped a diss song called Laugh Now after it all went down, and it said he isn't gonna stop dissing Mo3 just cause he's dead. There was some good that happened though. Mo3's team put together a posthumous album called Shot Us Forever and dropped it. This included Mo3's biggest song, Outside, which is certified platinum, and had a music video to accompany it that was basically footage of Mo3's balloon release party. A real chilling video to watch, knowing how this all went down. The album Shot Us Forever was his best performing album of his entire career. It's just unfortunate that he wasn't around to see everything he built when it was at its peak. A story that is becoming all too familiar in the world of hip hop. Dang, watching that back makes me miss making them documentaries for real. Shout out to the penguin, bruh. But yeah, man, that was the story 3 years ago. Like I said, there have been developments in it since then. So there may be more details out there for you guys to find out. But after watching that, you should have the general gist of why everything went down the way that it went down. If you guys want to see more information about this, feel free to go check out the Mo3 documentary that I made, because it's got, you know, all the information about Mo3 in there. But for now, man, that's the video. That's what I got for you guys. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about everything in the comments down below. Anyways, that's basically it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, tap the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. As always, it's been fun rocking with y'all, man. I'm out.